Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for today's 30 on Thursday webinar discussing integrating Salesforce into your SharePoint corporate intranet. Just a little bit about us before we get started. Protiviti provides consulting services in finance technology, data analytics, governance, risk, and internal audit to our clients through our network of more than 70 offices in over 20 countries. Our full-service software solutions team provides consulting and on-demand support for SharePoint, Office 365, Salesforce, Nintex, Sitecore, Kentico, SQL, and .NET. Our 30 on Thursday webinar series is in its 6th year now, where we talk about software solutions every other Thursday for 30 minutes. We have tons of great events coming up in October. We have our Office 365 governance roundtables in Chicago, DC, Atlanta, Minneapolis, and Dallas. We are also hosting a Nintex workflow and a day workshop in Northern Virginia on October 18th. You can register for these complimentary events and see our full event schedule on our website, ecm.protiviti.com. Our software solutions team can help you take advantage of the world's leading customer relationship management platform, which is Salesforce, with our services and on-demand support. We provide implementation and customization, migration, integration, application development, and automation. We are offering 1 free hour of Salesforce support for everyone on today's webinar. If you're interested in this offering, please email us at softwaresolutions@protiviti.com. You can learn more on our website as well. Today's session is being recorded. You can access today's recording and see past webinar recordings on our YouTube channel. For questions during the presentation today, please use the question window in the GoToMeeting toolbar or live tweet us your questions using the hashtag 30TSalesforce. We will be saving all the questions until after the presentation today. Today's presenters are Joe Corrado, Senior Manager here at Protiviti and our resident Salesforce expert, Bill Vencil, Associate Director here at Protiviti, and I am Julia Marple, and I will be moderating today's presentation. All right, let's get started. Joe, I will turn it over to you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. And again, thanks for joining us on this week's 30 for Thursday. Julia, if you can just confirm that you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so today we're just going to start out by touching on some of the benefits of a SharePoint intranet, just to kind of set the baseline when we're talking about integrating Salesforce into your corporate intranet. Then we're going to go on to a few areas of integration within Salesforce. First around the Sales Cloud and all the CRM data that's involved there, and then as well as demo one of the features of the Service Cloud, which I'll show also in SharePoint. So let's first talk about the benefits of a SharePoint intranet, just again to set that baseline. First, it can be that central site to establish and promote your corporate identity. So it kind of provides a corporate-wide channel to share corporate news and communications among employees to develop a stronger corporate identity. This can boost loyalty and the feeling of being included, thus supporting that service value chain, right? So, if I'm satisfied, I'm going to be loyal. If I'm loyal, I'm going to provide better service to my customers. If I'm providing better customer service, then they're going to be loyal to me, and if they're loyal to me, they're going to do more business with me. So it's very important to promote your corporate identity and get that sense of belonging. It also provides that tried and true document management solution, right? That's kind of what we know SharePoint to be. I can go in there and confidently store and access secure version documents from one single place. I'm not inefficiently using email to pass documents back and forth. I'm not storing them locally, questioning whether or not I have the latest version. SharePoint provides that right out of the box. It also provides a peace of mind with built-in controls and permissions to secure your data and documents. So with SharePoint, we can easily control who has access to specific documents and data and what we can do with that data. It also makes integrating or collaborating with internal subject matter experts and finding information a lot easier. We're often looking for guidance or knowledge around certain aspects of our business, whether that's finding a certain methodology that we use, best practices, similar projects that we need to work on, or other experts within our organization. If you've got a company that's 10 people, it's kind of easy to find, right? You just draw in the same room. But if you've got a company that's 1,000, it becomes much harder. So SharePoint makes it a lot easier to search across your organization to find the right people and find the right information that you need to get your job done. Lastly, it also continues to improve and automate your business processes. So, SharePoint has its native SharePoint workflow capabilities, but you can also leverage third-party solutions like Nintex to enable your organization to continue and improve your automated business processes quickly. That'll boost your productivity. Okay, so why are we going to integrate Salesforce CRM data into our SharePoint environment? Well, first of all, it could reduce the number of CRM licenses needed. So if your employees don't really need to be involved in all aspects of your sales, marketing, or service efforts, and then they only need to access certain information, they can do that within SharePoint. So Salesforce makes it real easy to kind of monitor your adoption and your usage within the environment. So it's something to consider doing just to see if you're getting the most bang for your buck out of your Salesforce instance. It's also quicker to access through a single interface that lets you work between SharePoint and Salesforce. So again, if you don't live and breathe in Salesforce, you're not really part of that hardcore sales team or really working within your customer service department, SharePoint's a great option just to get the information you need from Salesforce and work in one system. It also allows your entire organization to collaborate and support those other efforts around sales, marketing, and your service teams. So Salesforce is known for their CRM data and their customer service data. There's a lot of information inside of Salesforce. So the sky's the limit as far as what you want to bring over and what you can get out of it. And then finally, it's back to that operating efficiently, right? It's linking your automated business processes together between the systems. So Salesforce has its own workflow engine. SharePoint has its. It's just keeping those things in motion at both ends as you build out your business processes, that rely on each system's interaction and information. So now I'm going to get out of the slides and kind of jump into the demo here and walk you through a sample SharePoint intranet. Okay. Again, this is just an overview of a sample environment here within SharePoint. You've got your corporate news, kind of building that corporate brand identity, surfacing corporate events, surfacing links to other systems that you rely on, such as a travel agency that you book through for work, or your HR department, quick link for that, an area for your actions within your enterprise. And then on top here, just areas around other areas in your business, so different lines of business, whether that's financial services or consumer products and services, as well as your operations. So quickly getting in your HR department or your IT department. Where Salesforce can be useful is within your customers, right? Your customer relationship management system around our customers. So this initial page here is kind of a splash page for your account management and your sales program. So on the left here, you kind of see an account dashboard. So this is just a charting control that's pulling live data from Salesforce, and it's broken out by attributes on the account within Salesforce. So in this case, it's accounts by industries, accounts by type, and accounts by rating. So you can kind of get a high-level view of where your accounts sit where you're really doing well in business, what type of accounts, and whether or not they're hot or cold as far as sales, as far as the sales purposes are concerned. Around here is just the methodology, right? You're trying to engage and inform your entire organization around your sales methodology, as well as your account management program. So here you can surface information around that, just to get them engaged and informed and interested, as well as recent wins. So anytime a recent win is won within Salesforce and the stage moves to a close win, that information could surface here, and then also it'll surface in other areas of your intranet for more information, as well as client events. So again, you're trying to keep your employees engaged. You want them to be aware of what's going on with their accounts or accounts that they might be supporting. So just keeps them aware. Jumping on to another page is getting a little more specific now. So this is a little broader range of CRM data. Well, let's say you just need to focus on the information that you're concerned about. So in a second here, it's going to load, and this is going to be specific to me. So these are going to be my customers, my open opportunities, and my tasks within Salesforce. So Bill will get into more of the technical details, but it is honoring Salesforce's security model. So whatever org-wide defaults I have defined in my Salesforce environment, whatever role I am in the role hierarchy, whatever sharing rules apply to me, whatever profile I have that controls which objects I have access to, that's all controlled here. So you only see what you're supposed to see. So this allows me to manage my customers and their needs in one central place. So I can stay on top of my accounts. I can keep my opportunities moving along the sales process. And then with my tasks in Salesforce, I can keep those moving as well without being a bottleneck. And earlier I alluded to the recent wins. So that's another area that you can integrate. So kind of surfacing that corporate success, right? Building that corporate identity. So again, leveraging some charting controls here. We can show recent wins. These are recent wins over the last 6 months. They're defined by account type. So where are we winning these opportunities from? They're direct or from a different channel. Which are our top 5 accounts, and then as well as what industry are we really doing well in. So again, this is promoting that information enterprise-wide. It's not just within Salesforce for those people that just have Salesforce access. You're promoting this information enterprise-wide. And then below is just corporate recent wins. This is a list again from Salesforce. So if you're supporting an account or sales process and you don't have complete access to Salesforce, and you've been granted access through it somehow with the web API authentication, you're able to access certain information to be able to support those opportunities and get more information, or you may be interested in a win just to support your opportunities in some other account. Okay. Now I'm going to jump into Salesforce now and kind of show you the interaction between the two systems. So just the baseline, everyone, in case you're unfamiliar with Salesforce, we're looking at the account page in Salesforce for a specific account. In this case, it's Grand Hotels. So within here, I've got my related list. So I've got a couple contacts related to this account. I have opportunities. So what have I won? What am I prospecting? What am I in within contract proposal stages? Do I have any contracts open? What cases are open with this account? And then on the right, just some social interaction here, so a Twitter feed in case I need to be informed about any information about the account. And then below here is some more important information around the activity going on. So it's talking about specific tasks that were created within this account that I might need to be aware of, or I might be in charge of, events that are upcoming, calls that were made to the account, and emails that were logged. So again, this is all information that you might find useful, that you might want to surface within SharePoint for your other individuals within your organization. But let's say a new account or a new opportunity comes along with this account. So here I'm going to create a new opportunity. Define a stage. Here I'm going to say it's actually within a proposal or price quote stage. So we've got a 75% chance of this opportunity closing. So within Salesforce, there's a couple workflows that actually happen. So first, the opportunity is created within Salesforce, and also an engagement risk assessment is created. So that's something internal, an internal process that needs to be done before an opportunity can be closed. You need to assess the risk for this engagement or this project, and that's a task that's created for the owner of the opportunity to complete. You can see down here as the next steps. So if I were to jump into Salesforce or into SharePoint now and go to my customers and my open opportunities, I would notice a new opportunity, my own open opportunities, as well as I can access it through here. And there's a new task created for me to complete the first step of that engagement risk assessment. So if I were to drill into the account, again, I see an open opportunities related list. I see that new opportunity here. So as the opportunity moves along the process, let's say it now becomes a done deal. We've negotiated a contract. We're going to close it. I can come here and mark it as closed inside of Salesforce. And again, it saves it as closed. So I can see that within the related list of the opportunity of the account. Here. Again. And you'll notice that there's another task now associated. Since we've closed it, I now have to upload the signed contract to the SharePoint engagement site. So now I'm going to go jump back into SharePoint. Go back to my list here. So we'll notice that it's no longer an open opportunity because it's closed. So if I were to go back onto my account, Grand Hotels, again, I notice it's not an open opportunity, but it now is a new engagement, meaning we've closed the work. It's become a real project now. So at this point, I'm just going to hand it off to Bill right now to talk about some of the techniques used to integrate Salesforce with SharePoint.
All right. Thanks, Joe. This is Bill Vencil with Protiviti's Enterprise Content Management team. So one of the great things about Salesforce as a platform is that it offers many different types of APIs or application programming interfaces. And some of the integration that you've just been seeing, that Joe's been demoing, is making heavy use of the REST APIs. So that's a common web-based interface that allows one system to reach across to another system. It's not proprietary to Salesforce, at least the concept, but Salesforce has implemented a very robust set of REST APIs. And what we're doing with some of these interfaces in SharePoint is actually reaching out to those REST APIs actually through the use of JavaScript. So that's one of the great things. You can use JavaScript and some of the popular JavaScript-based libraries out there like jQuery or Angular, and you can leverage those technologies to access the Salesforce REST APIs and pull back data and even write data into Salesforce. There are also other APIs that are probably worth mentioning. If you're interested, there are actually bulk APIs where you can load large collections of data into Salesforce. There's even a REST API for Salesforce chatter feeds. If you want to show those in SharePoint, it's actually pretty cool. One of the, Joe mentioned that these APIs respect Salesforce security, so there are several techniques for passing security tokens back and forth between the two systems so that Salesforce knows who's accessing the SharePoint page and can display the appropriate information. It does use an industry standard authentication protocol called OAuth, so common industry standard technology for that also. So very powerful platform, a lot of powerful capabilities. And then I'll just mention briefly before I turn it back over to Joe that there are also third-party tools that you can integrate into your SharePoint platform that can help to simplify the process of accessing Salesforce data. And Joe's already mentioned a great set of products that I personally am very fond of, and that's the Nintex platform. So that includes Nintex Workflow and Nintex Forms. Nintex ships out of the box with Salesforce connectors, and that would be both its on-premise and Microsoft Office 365 version of those products. And it makes it very easy to reach out and read and write Salesforce data in the context of running workflows in SharePoint or surfacing data in SharePoint. Okay, Joe, back to you now.
All right, thanks, Bill. And just looking at the time, I know we've got obviously less than 10 minutes here, so I'll be as efficient as I can with this next demo. But I kind of wanted to show one of the features within in the Service Cloud is the Live Agent feature, where you can snap in a live chatting functionality within your SharePoint Intranet. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like. So here is just a sample console, service console that normally customer service agents use within Salesforce. You'll notice here, I know it's a lot to look at, but notice here on the bottom right here is this live agent. So here we can create channels and create a queue for agents to accept chats from external or internal channels. So in this case, I created an internal channel for our company within not only our our overall account and sales process here. You'll see it on the bottom right here. There's a chat with an expert here, but also within our organization or operations of IT, which is probably most people where you might see it. So the benefits of live chatting, it goes both ways, right? Live chatting, it takes away the need for a phone call to a tech service person. They can only take one phone call at a time, right? With live chat, they can take multiple cases at a time. So if they're researching something, they can research and multitask at the same time, and I'll show you that in a second here. Also, on the other end, you might be multitasking yourself, right? You don't want to sit on a phone, listen to that music, wait 5-10 minutes. Here, the agent on the other end is being efficient, and then you're being efficient as well on your end. So let me just kind of show you what that looks like real quick here, and kind of do a split screen so you can see the interaction between the two. All right, so I just initiated a chat with my agent here, and of course this all can be programmed to know who you are, but for the demo's sake, it's just going to, I'm going to type in the name here. And then say internet down. And so I hit start chatting, and you'll notice here flashing on the bottom left within my sales console is my queue. So again, this could be, there could be 10 things in here, and you can have different reps picking cherry picking from this list. In this case, I just have one, so I'm going to accept it. So what it does is then it automatically creates a case for you. It's got contact information. So in case this is a known contact or a known customer, they've had similar issues, you can kind of get that 360 view of them and be able to just understand them more than they think you know. So here I've got on the right-hand side, it says, thanks for contacting Acme. This is all programmed in, so you can do a greeting. And then you can start typing, and then here on the left, it shows on the left. So here it captures every possible interaction with them. So it's saving this transcript, this chat, it's creating a case so that the end user knows it's been resolved or it's being worked on. All important information that, again, you can surface. You can start within SharePoint, and then you can also finish within SharePoint. So when it comes down to the case resolution. And I know we got a couple minutes left, so I'll end the demo there. And Bill, I don't know if you want to add a few comments before we hand it over to Julia for questions.
Just say that again, we're using the APIs there as needed to combine the data from Salesforce and SharePoint together.
All right, so we do have a couple questions coming in. If you all have any questions, please insert them in the question window of the GoToMeeting toolbar. Our first question is, what are you seeing as a driver for companies to integrate their CRM system like Salesforce into SharePoint?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it was one of the bullet points earlier, and I think outside of just getting all that important information from your CRM system, it's also just maximizing their investment in SharePoint. So, larger corporations who invest and rely on SharePoint as their intranet need most of their employees to be engaged and aware of their customers and those experiences. Salesforce is an awesome platform, and I work in it 95% of the day. But it can be pricey, right? Like if you have a huge organization and they're not utilizing it, and they don't need most of their employees to be in it, it can be pricey, especially when across all of its products. So you add on the Sales Cloud, you add on the Service Cloud, you add on the Marketing Cloud, you add on the Community Cloud, things like that. So clients are looking to reduce the cost of licensing, especially those that aren't using it frequently enough, and getting them inside of SharePoint to get that data they need to support those sales processes. But that's a good question.
Thanks. Another question we got is, if we decide to integrate Salesforce with SharePoint, will the connection be secure?
Yeah, I guess I better answer that one. This is Bill. And I think the short answer is yes. Again, it uses the industry standard OAuth protocol. Obviously, good coding practices would be necessary to ensure security, but there are many different ways to do, for example, single sign-on, so that when you sign on to one system, you automatically sign into the other system, and provide secure data transfer between the two systems. I'll just mention a site, Julie. I don't know if we've got it in the presentation, but there is an entire developer portal, so developer.salesforce.com, that has just a ton of great information.
Okay, great. I can include that in the follow-up emails along with the recording link to the YouTube video of this presentation. We did have a question. What technology is being used to show chat in SharePoint?
Right, so the chat window, some of that is actually coming from Salesforce itself. So that would be the actual chat window. And in SharePoint, what we're doing then is creating a link to that capability within Salesforce. So that's pretty straightforward. In order to show the results of the chat within SharePoint, now not within Salesforce, but within SharePoint, we can call the Chatter API, which is one of those APIs I mentioned in Salesforce. And then, again, we can make use of that. It's a REST API, and we can have it return data. And then we can use one of several different techniques to display it on a SharePoint page. A very common technique, again, would be the use of JavaScript to work with that REST API and then surface the data in the SharePoint page.
All right, I think that is all the questions that we have today. Thank you everyone for attending today. Thank you Joe and Bill for the great presentation. Lots of great information there. Again, we will be having the recording up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ProtivitiSP, and we will be following up with everyone on today's call with that link when it's available. Thank you and have a great day.